Hello guys, welcome back. Good evening. Welcome back. Welcome back to Agnipath. Today, as part of the second unit, that is, you know, physiography, we're going to cover the third chapter, that is drainage system. Chalo, as promised, I am going to cover today's chapter within 1 hour. Okay? Chalo, let's get into the class. Drainage system. Right. So in today's class, we're going to cover, we're going to begin chapter 3, that is drainage system. So now, just 1 minute. Okay, I forgot to put the earbuds. Let's go. So now, before we open the chapter, let me ask you a simple question. Have you ever wondered why rivers always flow in one direction? Why rivers flow always in one direction? Why doesn't the Ganga suddenly start flowing towards the Himalayas? Why? Or another interesting question, why does the Ganga finally enter the Bay of Bengal? Why does the Ganga finally enter Bay of Bengal? Why? While rivers like the this is a question mark, and remember, while rivers like the Narmada and Tapi flow into the Arabian Sea. Okay? Narmada and Tapi. Sorry for my the background voices. It is too much disturbing. Just try to bear with today's class, because so just bear with today's class. I'll try to sort it out. So Narmada and Tapi river, they generally flow into Arabian Sea. Okay, why? So who decides the direction of rivers? Okay, is it the river itself? Is it the river itself, or is it a gravity? Is it a gravity, or what else? Or is it the land over which the river flows? By the end of this class, you will have the answers of all these questions. Okay? And trust me, this chapter is not just about rivers. It is about understanding India's geography, monsoon, floods, irrigation, agriculture, dams, river disputes, and even current affairs. So let's begin. So the chapter name is drainage, right? Drainage system. What is drainage? Let's start with this. First of all, what do you mean by drainage? What do you mean by drainage? Whenever rain falls on the earth's surface, the water cannot remain there forever. Okay, it will flow. It has to move. And some water enters the ground, some evaporates, and the remaining water flows through rivers, streams, canals, and eventually reaches the sea. So these movement of water through well-defined channel. Okay, these movement of water through well-defined channels, it is called drainage. And the entire network of rivers and stream is called drainage system. Okay? So think of it as like our human body, just as veins. Just as veins carry blood throughout our body, rivers carry water across the land, and that network is called the drainage system. Now, what is drainage pattern? Let us learn about this. What is drainage pattern? What is this? Now it's another important term, right? Drainage pattern. Suppose you look at India from space. Do all rivers look the same? No, right? A big no for this. Some look like the branches of a tree, some spread in all directions, some meet each other at right angles, some flow toward the central lake, and the arrangement of or pattern in which rivers and their tributaries flow is called the drainage pattern. Right. The arrangement, the arrangement or pattern, the arrangement or pattern in which rivers and their tributaries flow is called drainage pattern. Simple. Okay. And remember, the drainage pattern depends upon relief, slope. All right. Drainage pattern depends upon, it is depends upon uh, slope, relief, and rock structure. Okay. And geological history. Okay. Geological history. And this is a favorite UPSC concept, remember. Now there is other term that is uh, catchment area. Catchment area, what is this? So generally, imagine heavy rainfall over Hyderabad or Delhi. Where will the rainwater generally go? It will finally enter the, in Hyderabad it is Musi river, in Delhi I don't know, there will be some river or lake. So now think about every drop of rain that reaches the Musi river. So the entire area from which a river collects water is called catchment area. It looks quite complex, right? I'll try to explain you with you a simple definition. So a river collects water from a particular region, and that region is called catchment area. Very simple, right? Remember, just I'll write here. A river collects water from a particular region. Okay, it is called catchment area. Now let us learn about drainage basin. What is this drainage basin? Now this is one more time. Drainage basin, many students confuse this with catchment area. Okay, suppose the Godavari has hundreds of tributaries and each tributary collects water. Okay, and finally all of them join Godavari. Each tributaries, they will join a single river that is Godavari. Okay, and the total area drained by the main river and all its tributaries together is called drainage basin. All right. The total area drained by the main river and all its tributaries. Okay, tributaries together is called drainage basin. Okay, so now that is called drainage basin. So I'll write a simple definition. Catchment area means water collected by a river. Water collected by river. Okay, that is catchment area. Then what about drainage basin? Drainage basin, it is area drained by the river, along with all its tributaries. Area drained by the river along all its tributaries. So just remember. Now let us learn about the other concept, that is watershed. What is watershed? I just prepared the syllabus so that you will just understand what exactly needed and what exactly are the real concept behind the UPSC questions. So now watershed, let's go. Imagine two neighboring rivers. One side rainwater goes to Krishna. Okay. One side rainwater goes to Krishna, and on the other side rainwater goes to Godavari. Okay. Between these two rivers, basins, between these two river basins, there is always a higher land. There is a higher land between this. Okay. And this higher land separates one drainage basin from another, and this dividing line is called watershed. This is called watershed or water divide, you can simply call it. Okay. Watershed, I'll write a simple definition. Watershed simply means boundary between two drainage basins. Okay. Now there are important drainage patterns. Let us see some of the important drainage patterns. One is dendritic or dendritic. Okay, the first pattern is dendritic or dendritic, whatever you call. Okay, the word dendron. This word means tree. Okay. Now just look at a tree. One trunk, many branches. Like one trunk, many branches are there. So similarly, one main river receives many tributaries. From lot of tributaries are there, and the entire river system looks like a tree. And this is the most common drainage pattern in India. Okay. And remember, for example, the rivers of northern plains. All right. For example, the rivers of northern plain. Let's go. Now there is one more pattern, that is radial. Dendritic, and this is radial. What is this? Now imagine a mountain. Okay, water starts flowing from the top. Will all rivers move in one direction? No, right? No. A big no for this. They spread in every direction, right? and this is called a radial drainage pattern. This is called radial drainage pattern. Okay. So example, whatever example, there is Amarkantak Plateau. Okay. Remember this place because Narmada flows west, Sun flows north, and Mahanadi flows east. And this is excellent UPSC favorite. Okay. Remember. Okay. That the place name is Amarkantak Plateau. Remember. I'll just adjust my seat. So yeah. Now there is one more pattern that is called trellis. Now imagine parallel hills. The main river flows between them. Okay. The main river flows between them. And small rivers join the main river almost at right angles. Okay. The entire system looks like a garden trellis. Hence the name is trellis drainage pattern, and generally develops where hard and soft rock alternate. Okay. There is one more type of the pattern, that is centripetal. This is biological term because I'm a biological student. I know this. And this is the easiest one. Centripetal means moving towards the center. So imagine a ball. If you pour water from different sides, where will it go? Generally towards the center, right? Similarly, rivers from different directions flow into a lake or depression, and this is called centripetal drainage system. Okay. So let's quick revision. Let's start a quick revision. Drainage, it's a flow of water through channels. Drainage system means network of rivers, and drainage pattern, it is arrangement of rivers. What is catchment area? I've told already. Area, generally area from which a river collects water, right? So drainage basin is area drained by a river and all its tributaries. What is watershed? Boundaries separating two drainage basins. And finally, remember the 4 drainage patterns. Dendritic, radial, trellis, centripetal. Okay. If these concepts are clear, understanding the rest of the chapter becomes very easy. Chalo, let's go to the other topic, that is second topic is classification of Indian drainage system. Let's go. Now that we have understood the basic terminology, drainage basin, what is watershed, what are the drainage patterns, let's move to the most important part of this chapter. The question is, how are India's rivers classified? How are India's rivers are classified? How? India has thousands of rivers. Obviously, we cannot study each one individually, so geographers classify them based on certain characteristics. So let's see classification of Indian drainage. Now, Indian rivers are mainly classified 2 major drainage systems. Okay. First one is Himalayan drainage system. Okay, remember. And the second one is peninsular drainage system. Okay. Now, the classification is based on 3 important factors. Remember, first one is origin. Okay, like where does the river begin? Second one is nature. Is it perennial or seasonal? Is it perennial or seasonal? Okay. And the third one is characteristics. Characteristics. Okay. Like, is it young? Is it young or old? Or what else? Fast flowing. Okay. Fast flowing or slow flowing. Okay. So these three factors help us understand why rivers in North India and South India behave so differently. Chalo. Uh, Now there is now another classification is this, that is drainage into the sea. Generally, where do Indian rivers finally end? Almost every river ultimately reaches the sea, right? Ultimately reaches the sea, and there are only two major destinations. First one is Bay of Bengal, right? Bay of Bengal, and the second destination is Arabian Sea. Okay. Now here's an important fact for UPSC. Remember, nearly 77% of India's 77% of India's drainage area. India's drainage area. Nearly 77% of India's drainage area flows into Bay of Bengal. Remember, okay? Only 23% remaining. Only 23% they flow into Arabian Sea, right? So why? What is the reason? Because the Peninsula Plateau has a general slope from west to east. So most rivers naturally flow towards the Bay of Bengal. So there are only few major exceptions: Narmada, Tapi, which flow westward into the Arabian Sea. Remember that Narmada and Tapi, they generally flow westward into Arabian Sea. Okay. Now, what is river basin classification? What is river basin classification? River basin classification. Yes. Now let's classify river basins based on their size. Based on their size. Now there are three categories. Okay. First category is major river basins. So catchment area here is, more than 20,000 square kilometer. Okay, remember this. And examples include Ganga, Brahmaputra, Godavari, Krishna, and Narmada Tapi. These rivers drain very large areas and support millions of people. So this is part of major river basins. Now the second category, that is medium river basins. I hope it's visible right now. Medium river basins. What is this? Here catchment area is between 2,000 and 20,000 square kilometer. Okay. And examples include rivers like Periyar and what else? Kalindi. Yeah, this is what the examples. And there is one more category left, that is minor river basins. Now Here catchment area is less than, okay, is less than less than 2000 square kilometer, and mostly short rivers, especially along the western coast, okay, generally comes under the examples for this. Remember this classification only for understanding. UPSC usually focuses more on the major river systems. Now let us see the introduction to Himalayan drainage system. Himalayan drainage, okay. Now let's begin the first major drainage system, the Himalayan drainage system. Ask yourself this question: where do the Himalayan rivers originate? Obviously from the Himalayas, right? All of you will say. But what feeds these rivers? Two sources. One is snow and glaciers, and another one is rainfall. Whenever I generally I hear about glacier, I generally remember this chapter, and as well as the Sonam Wangchuk for his creation or invention of artificial glaciers. Now, because they receive water throughout the year, these rivers are called perennial rivers. Okay, and perennial because they receive water throughout the year, because receives water throughout the year. That's why they are called as perennial rivers. Now this is the biggest difference between Himalayan rivers and many peninsular rivers. Now, what are the characteristics of Himalayan rivers? Let's understand the features. First, these rivers are young rivers. Okay, they are young rivers. Okay, the Himalayas themselves are young fold mountains, right? Himalayan, I already told this, we have already discussed. Himalayan mountains are young fold mountains. So naturally the rivers are also geologically young. Now second, they have, this is the first characteristic. The second one is they have a steep gradient. Okay, so because they originate at high altitudes, water flows with tremendous speed. Okay, with tremendous speed, and these creates deep gorges, rapids and V-shaped valleys. Okay, third one, that is, when these rivers enter the northern plains, the slope becomes very gentle. Okay, so as a result, the river slows down. Instead of cutting the land, it starts depositing sediments, and this creates floodplains, meanders, and oxbow lakes, and these are the classic depositional landforms. So okay, remember this. Right, so that you can understand. Deposition of sediments generally, creates floodplains, and the other one is meanders. Third one is oxbow lakes. So remember, these are the classic deposition landforms. Okay, remember this sequence. Mountains generally, erosion, and in plains deposition, and this concept is extremely important. Remember this. Okay, Now let us see evolution of Himalayan drainage. Evolution of Himalayan drainage. Now NCERT talks about the evolution of Himalayan drainage. You don't have to remember every geological detail. Just understand the concept. Millions of years ago, tectonic movements uplifted the Himalayas. I already told this. As mountains rose, rivers adjusted their courses. Some rivers maintained their original course, despite mountain uplift. Such rivers are called antecedent rivers. Okay. Some rivers maintain their original course despite mountain uplift, and those rivers are called antecedent rivers. And examples include one is Indus, and another one is Satluj. The third one is Brahmaputra. Okay? UPSC has asked this concept multiple times, so remember. So let's quick revise what we have learned. Indian drainage is divided into two major systems: Himalayan, Peninsular. Rivers drain into 77% into Bay of Bengal and 23% into Arabian Sea. And river basins are three categories. There are three categories: major, medium, minor. Himalayan rivers are young, perennial, snow-fed and rain-fed, fast-flowing in mountains, slow and meandering in plains. And mountains equals to erosion, plains equals to deposition. Remember this. Antecedent rivers maintain their original course despite mountain uplift. So these are the concepts you should remember before we study the individual river systems. Okay? Now let us move to the other topic, that is Himalayan river system. Important one. Himalayan river systems. So far we have understood what the Himalayan drainage system is and why these rivers are perennial. Now the next question is, which are the major Himalayan river systems? Which are the major Himalayan river systems? This is a question. Okay? This will be your question right now. So there are three. First one is Indus river system. Remember, Indus river system. Second one, Ganga river system. And third one, Brahmaputra river system. And remember this order, because NCERT also follows the same sequence: Indus river system, Ganga river system, Brahmaputra river system. I hope it's visible. So let's start with the first one, that is Indus river system. Now let's start with Indus river. The Indus is one of the longest river systems in the world. It originates near Lake Manasarovar in Tibet. Mansarovar, whatever. So, Mansarovar in Tibet, which is close to Mount Kailash. It is close to Mount Kailash. From there, it flows northwest, enters Ladakh. Okay? It flows northwest and enters Ladakh. Okay? And then Pakistan. Okay? Then Pakistan, and finally drains into Arabian Sea. Arabian Sea. So now don't try to memorize every place mentioned in NCERT. For UPSC, remember only the important concept. The Indus has many tributaries, but the five most important one are called uh, Panjnath, Panjnath rivers. Panjnath rivers. What are they? What are this? Let's go. Let's see what exactly are they. Now, how do we remember this? Just remember this: JCRBS. Okay. Here it is Jhelum. C for Chenab. R for Ravi. B is S for Satluj. Okay, five rivers. These are called as Panjnath rivers, and these five rivers flow through Punjab. These five rivers flow through Punjab. So, in fact, the word Punjab itself means land of five rivers, right? So, a simple trick, whenever you hear Punjab, immediately think of these five tributaries, JCRBS. And another important point, the Satluj flows through the famous Bhakra Nangal project, which is one of India's major multi-purpose river valley projects. So this is enough for you guys. Remember this. Satluj flows through the famous Bhakra Nangal project. Okay. So this is very important. So which is one of the India's major multi-purpose river valley project. So the other one is now the second one, that is the Ganga river system. The Ganga river system. Okay, what is this? So now let's come to India's most important river, Ganga. Okay, why is it so important? Now just because of it is a river, now it's important geographically, economically, culturally, spiritually. What else? Millions of people depend on it for drinking water, irrigation, agriculture, transport and livelihood. So now let's understand its origin. Many students think the river starts directly as Ganga. That is not correct. So it begins as the Bhagirathi. Okay? It begins as Bhagirathi or Bhagirathi, okay, which originates from Gangotri glacier, okay, at Gaumukh. Now another river, Alakananda. So also originates from the Himalaya. It is also originates in the Himalayas. Okay, just remember. Okay, and these two rivers meet at Devprayag. These two rivers meet at Devprayag. So only after this confluence is the river officially called as Ganga. So this question has been asked many times in competitive exams. So remember, Bhagirathi plus Alakananda equals to Ganga at Devprayag. So now what are the major tributaries? Don't memorize 20 rivers, only remember the important ones. Now we have right bank tributaries. Right bank tributaries, that is Yamuna and Sun. Okay, and we have left bank tributaries. What are those? Ram Ganga, alright, Ram Ganga, and Gom Gomti, Gomati or Gomti, and Gagara, Gandak, and Kosi, ठीक है, Mahananda, here, and so the famous river here is Kosi. So remember why Kosi famous, because it is frequently changes its course due to heavy sediment deposition. So that is why it is known as Saro of Bihar. Remember this, Kosi is known as Saro of Bihar. Similarly, another river is this basin, the Damodar. It is called Saro of Bengal. I write here, Damodar river. It is called as Saro of Bengal. So yes. Now the third one is the Brahmaputra river system. The third one is the Brahmaputra river system. Now let's move to the third system, that is Brahmaputra. The Brahmaputra also originates near same Lake Manasarovar in Tibet. Okay. Okay, so but in Tibet it is known by another name, that is Sangpo. Just remember for your knowledge. So when it flows through Tibet, it is Sangpo. When it enters India through Arunachal Pradesh, okay? Arunachal Pradesh, it is first called as Siang or Dihang. Okay? Further downstream, after the Dibang and Lohit river join it, it becomes Brahmaputra. After the joining of rivers like Dibang and Lohit. So this river is unique because it carries an enormous amount of water and sediment. As it flows through Assam, it creates one of the widest river valleys in India. But because of heavy rainfall and high sediment load, the Brahmaputra causes severe floods almost every year. So that is why flood management in Assam is major governance and disaster management issue. Remember, in Assam, flood management, MNGT means management. It is a major governance. It's a major governance and disaster management issue. Just remember so that you'll have some understanding. So one important tributary to remember is the Subansiri, often mentioned because of hydroelectric projects. So try to find out this. Try to learn about this Subansiri. It is often mentioned because of its hydroelectric projects. So yeah. Now let's compare these three river systems. Indus, it flows mainly towards Pakistan, drains into Arabian Sea, and 5 important Punjab tributaries. Remember that. Remember that mnemonic, right? So the other one is Ganga. It is India's largest river basin, drains into Bay of Bengal, and most important for agriculture and population. The third one is Brahmaputra. It originates in Tibet, Mansarovar. as Sangpo and enters India through Arunachal Pradesh, carries huge sediment loads, causes annual floods in Assam. Okay. So Indus, the Panjanath rivers, Jhelum, Chanabra, Bees, Satluj. So Bhagirathi plus Alaknanda, East Ganga at Devrayag, Kosi is Sar of Bihar, Damodar Sar of Bengal, and what else? Sangpo. It's a Brahmaputra in Tibet, and Siang or Dihang. It is generally called in I think Brahmaputra in Arunachal Pradesh. They call it they call Brahmaputra as Sihang and Dihang in Arunachal Pradesh. So Subansiri is an important tributary of the Brahmaputra. Okay? So don't waste time memorizing every small tributary from the NCERT. Focus on this high yield fact and understand the river journey from its origin to its mouth. Okay? Now let us see the other concept, that is peninsular drainage system and river water management. ठीक है चलो. So far we have studied the Himalayan rivers. Now let's move to the second major drainage system of India, that is peninsular drainage system. So the moment you hear peninsular rivers, remember one thing: these rivers are completely different from Himalayan rivers. Let's understand why. Let's go. Now, so first, where do these rivers originate? Unlike Himalayan rivers, they do not originate from glaciers. Most peninsular rivers originate in Western Ghats. They originate in Western Ghats and the Central Highlands, or Peninsular Plateau. Okay? Peninsular Plateau. So they originate from this. Okay? So since they mainly depend on rainfall, many of them are seasonal. What is the difference? They are perennial and these are seasonal. Remember. So many of them are seasonal or have much lower discharge during dry season. Okay? Now let's understand their characteristics. So what are the characteristics of peninsular rivers? First, they are older rivers. Remember, the Himalayan rivers are younger. These are older rivers than Himalayan rivers. Why? Because the peninsular plateau is one of the oldest land masses in India. I have told this. Second, these rivers flow through broad and shallow valleys. They flow through broad and shallow valley. Okay? Unlike Himalayan rivers, they do not cut deep gorges because the land is already mature. Third, they have fixed course. What is fixed course means? Unlike the Kosi example, these rivers rarely change their path. Okay? Fourth, they have less meandering. What is this? Since the slope is relatively stable, they follow a more predictable course. This is the reason why they have less meandering. And one more important exception, remember these two rivers, Narmada and Tapi. Okay? Unlike most peninsular rivers, they flow westward. They flow westward through rift valleys. And into what? Arabian Sea. And this is very important UPSC fact, remember. And what are the major peninsular rivers here? Major peninsular rivers. What are those? Now let's quickly understand the major river system. You don't have to memorize every tributary. Remember, only remember the origin, direction, and one more important feature. Okay. The first one is Mahanadi. So Mahanadi, it's originated in Chhattisgarh, and it flows east. And it empties into it. It ends at Bay of Bengal. Okay, and it is known for Hirakud. I don't know, Hirakud Dam. It is known for Hirakud Dam, one of the India's longest earthen dams. Remember this. And the second one is Godavari. Second river is Godavari, and this is called Dakshin Ganga. Godavari is also called as Dakshin Ganga, okay, or Ganga of South India. Just remember like that, Ganga of South India.
I am waiting out.
So remember this. So sorry for the disturbance. Hirakud Dam, so that is for Mahanadi, and Godavari, it is called Dakshin Ganga or Ganga of South India. Why? Because it is the longest, remember this, longest river in peninsular India. Okay, remember this. It is the longest river in peninsular India. Okay, so it is Godavari originated in Trimbakeshwar. Okay. The word is very hard to pronounce, but just Trimbakeshwar. The word is very hard. So remember this this nickname. Just remember this nickname, Dakshin Ganga. So the other one is Krishna. Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna. Krishna is originated at Mahabaleshwar. It's in Maharashtra. I like MH, Maharashtra. It flows east. Into Bay of Bengal. Okay? Into Bay of Bengal. And what are the major tributaries? It include Bhima, Tungabhadra, okay? And the Krishna basin is extremely important for irrigation in Maharashtra, Karnataka, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh. Let's see the other one, that is fourth one, Kaveri. River Kaveri. So Kaveri is originated at Talakaveri. It is in Karnataka. Okay? It flows through Karnataka and Tamil Nadu before entering Bay of Bengal. So it is known for Shivana Samudra Falls. It is known for Shivana Samudra Falls. Remember? And the long-standing Kaveri water dispute. Remember this. Kaveri water dispute between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. So this frequently appears in current affairs. The other river is Narmada. Okay? The other river is Narmada. So now comes an exception. The Narmada originates at Amarkantak Plateau, and instead of flowing east, it flows west. Remember, it flows, and this is exception, it flows west and then into Arabian Sea. Okay. So remember two famous places, marble rocks. Okay. Other one is Dhuvandhar Falls near Jabalpur. Okay. And the other one is Tapi, river Tapi. Okay. Or Tapti. So it is another west flowing river. So it is originated at Multai, MP means Madhya Pradesh. Also it flows through a rift valley and finally enters Arabian Sea. Okay? Arabian Sea. Whenever UPSC asks about rift valley rivers, immediately remember Narmada and Tapi. So there is one more river, that is Luni. Seventh one is Luni. Okay? So it is one more river. Luni originates near the Aravali hills. Okay? And it is an ephemeral river. Okay? Meaning it flows mainly during the rainy season. And instead of reaching the sea, it disappears in the marshy region of the Run of Kutch. So this is another favorite UPSC fact. So let us see what is river water management. Okay. So now let's move to another important issue. Does India have enough water? The answer is yes. So then why do we experience floods in one state and droughts in another? The problem is not the total amount of water. The problem is its uneven distribution across space and time. Okay. Uneven distribution across space and time. Okay. So during the monsoon, rivers carry enormous volumes of water, causing floods. But in summer, many rivers dry up, leading to droughts. So the challenge is not availability but management. Remember. Now let us see interlinking of rivers. Interlinking of rivers. So one proposed solution is interlinking of rivers. The idea is simple. So transfer surplus water from flood prone river basins to water deficit regions. It means surplus water from flood prone river basins to water deficit regions. Okay? Through canals. So there are advantages. It reduces floods, helps control droughts, increase irrigation, improve drinking water supply, supports inland navigation, enhances food security. But there are challenges also. But it is not easy as it sounds. There are several challenges. Huge construction cost, environmental damage, displacement of people, interstate river disputes, ecological imbalance. Therefore, river interlinking remains a debated issue in India. So what do you think? For UPSC means always write both advantage and challenges. Remember. So let's revise what exactly we have done. So drainage is a network of rivers. 4 drainage patterns are there: dendritic, radial, trellis, centripetal. And Indian rivers are divided into Himalayan, peninsular. Himalayan rivers are young, perennial, snow-fed, meandering in plains. What about peninsular rivers? They are old, mature, fixed course, mostly seasonal. And Indus, Ganga, Brahmaputra are three major Himalayan river systems. Godavari is the Dakshin Ganga, Narmada and Tapi are, remember, this is very important. They are not east, they are west flowing Rift Valley rivers. Luni is exception. It is ephemeral rivers. Before it is reaching into the sea, it disappears in marshy regions. Water management and river interlinking are important for both prelims and mains. Remember. So with this, we have completed the drainage system chapter. In the next class, we'll move on to the next chapter and continue building our understanding of India's physical environment. Okay. So with this, we have completed. See you in the next class. Jai Hind.